I never imagined that a routine drive home would lead me into the darkest, most terrifying experience of my life. The sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows on the desolate highway. As I gripped the steering wheel, the radio played static-filled tunes, unable to dispel the eerie silence that surrounded me. With each passing mile, the unease in my gut grew. I glanced at the rearview mirror, half expecting to see a pair of glowing eyes staring back at me. But it was empty, just the dimming road fading into darkness. The flickering of my headlights gave the road ahead an eerie, distorted appearance. As I approached a bend, I felt an unnatural chill fill the air. My heart pounded, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone. Suddenly, the engine sputtered, and the car came to an abrupt halt. Panic surged through me as I tried to restart the engine, but to no avail. I was stranded in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by an unsettling silence that sent shivers down my spine. Out of desperation, I decided to walk to the nearest gas station, praying that it wasn't too far away. My footsteps echoed eerily on the deserted road. I glanced back at my car, now a mere silhouette against the darkening horizon, and couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me from the shadows. After what felt like an eternity, I finally spotted the flickering lights of a gas station in the distance. Relief washed over me as I quickened my pace, my heart pounding in my chest. As I approached, I saw an old attendant behind the counter, his eyes widened in surprise at my disheveled appearance. "Car trouble?" he asked with a half-hearted smile. "Yeah, it just died on me. Can you help?" I replied, trying to sound composed. He nodded and offered to drive me back to my car with a tow truck. As we made our way back, a chill swept through me. The attendant seemed normal enough, but there was something odd about him. His eyes held a distant, haunted look. When we reached my car, he inspected it carefully, muttering to himself. I asked him what was wrong, and he hesitated before finally speaking. "This place, this stretch of highway, it's cursed, you know." My heart skipped a beat, but I brushed off his words as superstition. He managed to get my car running again, but his warning lingered in my mind like a sinister whisper. As I thanked him and began to drive away, I saw him standing in the rearview mirror, a forlorn figure fading into the darkness. The unease in my gut returned, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The radio, which had remained static-filled all this time, suddenly burst to life with eerie laughter and distorted voices. I tried to turn it off, but it wouldn't budge. My heart raced, and I felt a cold sweat forming on my forehead. The road ahead seemed to stretch endlessly, and I realized with growing horror that I was back on the same stretch of highway where I had broken down before. No matter how far I drove, the surroundings remained unchanged. My heart pounded in my chest, and I fought back tears of fear and frustration. Was I trapped in some twisted loop? The laughter from the radio grew louder, filling the car with an unsettling cacophony. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something move in the darkness. A figure, barely visible, was standing on the side of the road. I tried to focus on the road ahead, but my eyes kept drifting back to the haunting silhouette. As I passed the figure, it suddenly darted in front of my car. I slammed on the brakes, but it was too late. The impact was sickening, and the car came to a screeching halt. Trembling, I got out of the car, dreading what I would find. But there was nothing. No sign of the figure I had hit, no trace of blood or body. It was as if it had never been there. The laughter from the radio grew louder, mocking me, taunting me. In a state of shock, I stumbled back into the car and tried to start the engine. It roared to life, and I sped away from the haunted highway as fast as I could. The laughter followed me, haunting me all the way. Since that night, I've avoided that cursed stretch of road like the plague. But the experience has left me scarred, forever haunted by the driving gone wrong on that desolate highway. I will never forget the night I encountered something inexplicable, something terrifying, something that should never have been. And I can only hope that others will heed my warning and avoid the cursed highway at all costs.